John Campbell here with a market report from Winter Livestock for yesterday, Tuesday the 30th. The handle a little over 2,100 cattle. Not a lot of calves and stockers. We had one nice string of 300 steers, black steers that were thin in flesh. The 8 1/4 weight cattle bring right up against $1.30. The steers weighing 9. There was 3 loads of them. Brought $1.24. Bulk of the run yesterday, stock cow pairs, the young pairs, 1,500 up to a top of 17 1/4. Bulk of the solid mouth pairs would bring from 12.5 to a high of 15.35. Old cows, thin little cows with little June-born calves that bring 9, 9.5 up to some bigger cows with 200 to 300 pound calves up to 14.10. A word I really like is consequences. And you think about it, there's no consequences anymore. It's such a great tool for shaping society and defining moral and ethical value. You remember when you were a kid and you'd run a race and by golly, you didn't like it. There were consequences if you lost. You didn't feel good. You were looked down upon by your peers, and winning was a great reward. Well, now we run a race and we downplay the winner and give a participation trophy to everybody that comes in the end of the race, and mediocrity is just as acceptable as winning. And one thing I know about consequences real well, you act up in school, why the old teach would put you up in front of the class for everybody to watch you and pour the wood to you, and by golly, there were consequences to actions, and as I remember, it was a pretty good deterrent from acting up anymore. And there's no consequences in our society if you don't perform financially, if you don't perform in your marriage or perform in your work. Used to be society and your peers would put such pressure on you that it was self-regulating, and it seems like we've lost a lot of that. I know my dad was always ashamed of the fact that he only went to the 9th grade in school, and he had consequences. If he didn't work at home, why things didn't get done, and the whole family suffered. And so that's why he never went past the 9th grade. But by providing everything for everybody, it seems like we've lost the value system that kept our life standards so very, very high, and we've in fact lowered the bar in terms of work ethic and social values. We've created this capitalistic model, all of us and the generations before us, for working so hard to provide for the youth and our kids so they wouldn't have to go through the tough times and the long hours and the suffering that we and our grandparents went through. And it seems like it's come full circle and bit us right in the ass. Now we have this socialistic nucleus that's been created that's never suffered consequences. They've never had to go without, and now they're trying to dictate to those of us that made it possible how we should be running things. All through history, there's been consequences. The old Vikings, they'd land their troops on the shores and then sink the boats. The consequences was you're either going to win the battle or you ain't got anything to come home to. Even those old Indian chiefs, they knew the consequences of losing a battle. That's why they mounted their best warriors on CattleUSA horses, so they'd be good and pissed off by the time they got to battle. I'll talk to you next week.